Hello and welcome to another Franchise Hockey Manager stream. My name is Adam. I am the community manager of Franchise Hockey. With me, as always, and digitally pictured on your stream, minus a beard, is FHM producer Jeff. Say hi, Jeff.
Hey everybody.
We are back with rewriting history. Montreal Canadiens 1919-1920 season, Dawn of the Goalies, Part 10. Jeff, we finally, after your mistake prones that have cost us years of good goaltending, I think maybe we've got it fixed.
Well, not quite yet because they're still both young, but we've got Lauren Chabot and Roy Waters in goal, uh, and they're both 19 at the moment, but 4.5 star and 4 star potential, both probably future Hall of Famers. So we'll see which one of them works out. But we've got two solid goalies now, and we, hopefully should be able to stick with this for a few seasons. If we maybe trade one of them for a little extra help. Should mention we had to, if you were watching last week, we ran into some weird issues with player names. Apparently, that was an old bug that dated back to right around release, and I didn't realize it, but it had affected the some of the future draft classes in this game. So we were getting weird things like I saw in the draft when we did the last draft, had a player named Oral Karpovtsev because it was sort of mixing and matching names and nicknames and last names and first names in a really weird way. I had no idea who that was, so I just deactivated. I retired the guy and left him out of the draft. That was actually Aurel Joliat, a Hall of
Oops.
Famer, which I should have figured out the name. I should have looked at the player history and I would have known right away who it was. But anyhow, I had Sebastian take a look at it, and we managed to make some sort of manually, well, not manually rebuild, but using the Elite Prospects ID numbers, managed to rebuild most of the player names. So we may run across one or two other that are weird, but I think, was it Waters had the nickname the Mangler or something like that? And now it's Shrimp, which is the correct one for him because he was, how tall again? 5'3", 135.
Which I mean sounds small now, but
That was pretty small then
wasn't
too.
wasn't huge then. But I mean, like the average guy was like 5'8".
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they were calling him Shrimp then. It was obviously
Well, I know, but
no,
sometimes
yeah,
people forget like
yeah,
how tall people have actually gotten in the
yeah,
last
but yeah,
100
like
years.
a 6 foot tall. I think I don't know if the McNamara brothers are still active in this game, but they went about 230, 240, and they were monsters.
Yeah.
The so where we are, just to get everybody caught up on what we're doing here, trying to replay the entire history of the Montreal Canadiens, starting in 1909 with the National Hockey Association, which we added this year to FHM 10, and had sort of mixed results with that. If I go back to the team history, you can see our NHA years. Uh, one championship, a few good seasons, but kind of trailed off near the end, although we did finish above 500 in the last season. And then we've had an uninspired start in the NHL, although we're finally above 500 this year. Very small NHL at this point. There's only 4 teams. There was only 3 teams last year, so it was just us, Ottawa, and Toronto.
Yeah, so I guess it's 25% bigger than last year.
33% bigger. Come on, do the math.
The league is now no, I'm good with what I said. I feel fine.
Okay, whatever you say, Adam. But the Quebec Bulldogs, whose franchise, they were an NHA team, they suspended the franchise when the NHL was formed, and didn't play the first couple of years. They came back this year. They got a few of their players. Clint Benedict, who had played goal for us last year, and yet another future Hall of Famer and 4 stars here. You can see is their goalie. They picked up a couple. They signed. Yeah, Jack Walker, who has left the Pacific Coast League from Vancouver. I think they took Frank Boucher in the draft and Lionel Hitchman. They've got a couple of good young players, but other than that, they're having to fill the roster in with free agents and maybe a few retreads from the NHA years.
Which you can see they're not doing very well with.
And yeah, 0-10, and yet to have a win this season. They're a little bit. They're not. They're 0-10 is a little unkind to them. And
No.
you've got sort of us and Toronto are fighting for the middle spot, and Ottawa is way out in front. And you can see why there's 4 or 5 stars through most of the forwards. Now, how many? One, two. I'm seeing 5, 6, 7, at least 8 or 9 Hall of Famers there. So this is an all-time great team, and we're kind of just hoping to beat them in an upset in the playoffs. But let's get moving with this because I want to get through maybe a
I was
couple of
gonna say,
scenes tonight.
and half your team hates each other. So
Oh yeah, let's team harmony. That's not too bad. And I've already used the intervention this month, so I'll have
I'm
to
sorry.
wait.
What does the Harmony overview say there? What does that say?
Open
I missed.
hostility. It's gonna fix itself. Honest.
Yeah, eventually everyone will end up hating enough people that the hate will overcome.
And got Toronto tonight, 8-5 win. Odie Cleghorn with 3 points in the first star. I should mention here that I just posted shortly before going online that we're doing an open beta for the final update of FHM 10. So that's available only if you've got the Steam version of the game right now. It's incredibly difficult to do something like that with the standalone version. It would take basically too much time for it to be practical to turn around something that quickly for temporary beta, and potentially have to update it a couple of times. So it's only on Steam at the moment. The full beta will ideally be out in about a week from now, or the full version of the new update will be out a week from now, depending on how this little beta goes. We've got Ottawa now, but there's been a few changes made. The changes are listed in the forum thread and on the Steam forum as well. And I'll post them on probably Facebook and Reddit after we get done here. And yeah, they're 5-2 loss to Ottawa. We just can't compete with those guys.
So
And
what you're saying is you're not going to win the NHL, and I'm carefully saying not going to win the NHL because you do not win the Stanley Cup by winning the NHL.
yep, by the PCHA champions for the Stanley Cup. And just taking a look at the trading deadline, trading block. Let's see, Toronto's trying to move a couple of guys, mainly older, and I think we're quite aloft with one defenseman. Is he better than what we've got? No, just marginally. Problem is, I really don't want to do a trade with Toronto because they're our main competition. Or at least for the right to get beaten by Ottawa, and that's pretty much. Well, Ottawa's got a couple people, but Doherty is out for the rest of the season. No point in doing that. And Bill Laird's just a backup goalie, and I want to keep going with the guys we've got in goal now. So, no trading deadline moves this year.
Ewag joins the chat and says, "Go Blue, Michigan Frozen 4."
And the click. Good Lord, look at that. That's most of the team at this point.
I told you, it just keeps getting bigger.
Slowly knock it down. Okay, that got rid of one who left. Albert Gray.
Actually, P-Wog had hit us up on social media, Jeff, with showing off one of the Michigan goals. I actually thought he was going to try and convince me to try and convince you to sing Unwritten in honor of Michigan.
That's not going to happen.
Sing. Oh, no, I think he could really pull off the, what's her name? Natasha Bedingfield? Yeah, I think you could nail that.
Okay,
on stream.
Quebec, who I'm assuming is still winless. Going to leave Boucher out just until he's completely recovered. Poulin is back. I'm going to go with the veteran for Gerard. Wait, how many? Gerard looked like he'd been scoring a bit. Oh, they both have.
All right, I will mention, just because PWOG posted in our FHM chat, we are currently streaming on twitch.tv/franchise hockey manager, twitch.tv/OOTP developments, as well as on our Steam page right now. Although if you're watching this on the YouTube archive, then you'll be watching it on youtube.com/OOTP developments, where all of our streams are archived, going back years, Jeff.
And Quebec goes 0-13 with a 9-5 loss to us. that. Great. Now another defenseman injured. Bert Corbeau this time. Dizziness and nausea, 1 to 2 weeks. So
So
presumably
are you going to
something concussion related, but they
bring
got
up Burt McCaffrey?
nope. We got other guys coming back from injuries, so he should be. Unless of course Billy Couture hurts his groin somehow.
Be about right.
So Corbeau goes in for, or Boucher goes in for Corbeau. And yeah, I got to call somebody up, but I got to send somebody down to make room. Oh, and Kerr dislocated his finger somehow, but he was out of the lineup, so I'm going to just put him on the injured list, and that is how we will deal with the roster issue for now. And
McCaffrey.
now I'm going to call up Duck Monroe because I want to get him a little bit of playing time. And
I mean, you got McCaffrey just sitting here waiting to come up. 26 years old, right winger and a defenseman.
it's only one game. Although I will juggle little lines at the start of this just to.
Both Boston schools are great. Yeah, I tuned into some of the Frozen 4 stuff.
And 5-3 win over Toronto, who has another Hall of Famer, George Hainsworth, in goal. And, well, most of the goals in the first period, 4-2 for us. And look at that. Monroe, the guy put in his first start, 2 assists in his first NHL game. And are we getting a little... Well, 6 points up in Toronto. I should mention here, in real life, we haven't got it set up this way in the game yet, but this was actually a split season. They play first half of the season, and then there was a winner, winner of the first half, and then the second half of the season. And I think the format was if the same team won, there wasn't a playoff. I could be wrong on that. But if there were separate winners in each half, they would play in the final. Now we got Ottawa again, and I don't think this is going to go particularly well. So they're 13-1. They're now 14-1. 5-3 loss. At least we're sort of competitive with them. Okay, so Couture is almost back. Stan Jackson, I didn't even know was hurt. Is apparently back. But Monroe's got another assist in that one, so he's been playing well. I'm going to leave him in until Couture's at 100%.
It's a good call. Jeff, we should talk about some of the biggest hockey news.
Oh wait, I screwed something up here. I've still got Monroe on his default. Also, switch him to shutdown defenseman. And what was the big news you want to talk about?
For the first time in a number of years, 10 years?
10 years, 20 San Francisco Bulls in 2013-14.
We have a minor league hockey team ceasing operations in the middle of the season.
There have been other teams have gone out of business in mid-season in other leagues, but the
What?
ECHL is supposed to be a little more stable than that.
Well, that's what I mean AHL, ECHL, that's what we're talking about here. Minor league.
Okay, so Monroe can go out and Couture comes back in. But yeah, kind of sad to see Newfoundland loses their team again.
Yeah, I feel terrible for Newfoundland. It's just they're just maybe just a little too far.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're farther from the nearest other ECHL team than they would if the ECHL put a team in Bermuda, they would be closer to the North Carolina teams than Newfoundland was to any other team in the league right now.
Yeah. I mean, Newfoundland, Trois Rivières probably is their closest one, and yep. Trois Rivières is hanging on by just a thread, too.
It was the same owner, wasn't it?
It is, and they have an agreement in principle to sell, but the ECHL still has to approve it. And as far as I've seen, I haven't seen who's buying Trois Rivières anyways.
Oh,
and someone's got to assume that depth.
We beat Quebec there, but it looks like they must have beaten Toronto at some point. How'd they do that? So they're not going to go winless this year. Yeah, 5-2 win over Toronto, which helps us. And we're, yeah, still 6 points. Oh, no, they got a game in hand, but that's presumably going to be a loss to Ottawa. And Kerr is healthy, and I sent Monroe down so he can go back onto the active roster. And I think we're
Okay, if they somehow win that, is that the upset of the century?
who?
Quebec beating the Ottawa Senators in this one?
Well, this the century's only 20 years old at this point. But no, that was Toronto. They lost to Ottawa, so yeah, we got 6 games. And let's see the lineup now. Can I fix everything the way I want it for? Okay, sit Couture out and put Corbeau back in. Jackson stays out. And yeah, I want Keats on that second line to give us a little scoring there. And the old guys, Poin and Petra, who are, I'm guessing, going to retire probably the end of the season. Oh, speaking of the end of the season, who do I need to sign? Harry Watson for sure. Just going to get that done before I forget, because if you forget to sign somebody, there's no UFAs in the NHL at this point, but there is the other league out there, the Western League, and if I don't sign anybody, or if I forget that I don't have somebody signed on July 1st, they may be at grab to ask me how I found that out.
I'm not going to.
That's why Georges Vezina is in Vancouver right now. If you haven't seen this before, I screwed up, left him unsigned when the PCHA appeared. And he was gone. Gerard, too. Yeah, you might as well do that just for the sake of having a little depth, because I think at least one of the older guys is probably going to retire this year. Okay, need a win against Toronto. That should help us lock this down. And an overtime win, and Toronto doesn't get any points for the overtime loss, and Harry Watson celebrates his new contract with the first star. And Duke Keats is dehydrated, but he's got a few days off, so drink up. Oh no, here we are already at, oh. Okay, Kerr's got a minor injury. Keats can, I'll just have a lot of water on the bench for him. It's Ottawa. It would be nice to get a win here. 8-3 loss, ouch. Nobody can touch these guys. And Keats is rehydrated now, apparently. So I think, go with this same lineup. That got blown up by Ottawa. How do we do against Toronto? 4-1 win. So I think we're pretty clear cut the second best team in the league right now. And so maybe one or two more players. And hopefully Ottawa slows down a little bit. Nice development report there. The younger guys are coming along. Gerard, Bill, Johnson, oh, well, yeah, see, Malone, that's not the first time he's gone downhill. That's bad. He was our best player, although Keats is rapidly replacing him there. Stan Jackson almost back. Let's get another win against Toronto here. 5-2. Easy win. Okay, need a conference builder against Ottawa in the next game. Get 1-1 here. Johnson, another defenseman out, so replace him with Couture. We're not going to catch Ottawa, but it'd just be nice to get at least one win, or maybe even push them into overtime. Wow, 8-3 win.
All right.
And the rehydrated Keats with 3 points. And it looks like Ottawa's lost a couple of times recently. What's going on there?
Maybe their hostility has happened.
Oh wow.
Or
Well, you were talking about the upset of the century, and it happened. 2-1 Quebec over Ottawa.
Clint Benedict
Actually,
stealing
no,
on some games.
2 games, 6-4. They beat them twice, 6-4 and 2-1. Wow. And yeah, no kidding. Ottawa 47 shots, but Benedict keeps them to 1 goal. So is Ottawa getting? No, they're still way back at Toronto, or Quebec. I mean, is still way back at Toronto. And now Peter's injured, so Kerr can go in. And I'm going to throw the backup Chabot in for this 1 game. It's just Quebec. Shouldn't have done that. 5-1 loss. George Carey, who used to play for us, gets 3 points and is the first star. And oh God, no.
Oh,
Malone
you
gone
took
for
out
1 to 2 weeks. Cleghorn, okay, just day to day. So
Foghorn Leghorn. That's terrible.
oh man. Okay, well there injuries that would keep them out of the lineup. They're all day to day. So got 3 days behind. It's only Quebec next. Well, we just lost to them, but okay, we're on game day here. Moves along quickly when the league is this small. Uh, okay, this is awkward though because I have to get enough guys into the lineup to play. So Cleghorn can be replaced by Jackson for this game. I think what I'm going to have to do here is put Peter on the injury list because he's slowing down. It's debatable if we'd even be using him in the playoffs, and call up Pitt Lepin, who is our first draft pick in the last draft, and he'll get to play in the last game of the season in Joe Malone's spot. Redo the lines. Whoops. Forgot to set his role properly. Although it doesn't really stand out at anything, I think I'm just going to go with Playmaker. And we'll go with the real starter again against Quebec. Keep him warm for the playoffs, and 5-3 win to close out. So that closes out the season, 24 games. And are we getting reasonably healthy here? Not so much. Let's see the award. Yeah, we'll answer it. Sure, Peter, the guy I put on the injured list and will be stuck there for a few days, is the one who's ready first.
Boiled Egg in the chat says, just finished streaming my league matches on here. Running a multiplayer league is so much fun.
Oh, sure.
Glad to hear you're enjoying your time.
That thing with the Conn Smythe Trophy being awarded early. Forgot to do that for the update. I'll see if I can get that in. Okay, we got Ottawa. And this is best of 5 series. So can we take 3 games off of these guys? Bearing in mind some of our best players are out?
I'm going to say no. I was going to say no before our best players out.
And contusion day to day. Should be playing through that. Johnson's back at least. What is Ottawa? Got anything wrong with them? Well, okay, you got Tommy Smith is out. One other guy injured. I know Doherty. Well, yeah, Doherty was the guy they were trying to dump. Oh, and Poulin has to go out for Jackson. Okay, game one of the playoffs against Ottawa for the right to play the PCHA champion, and 5-2 loss. Not that surprised. You see Frank Patrick there's the first star. We've changed that in the update. Now the Patrick brothers will both automatically go to the West Coast League when it appears in 1911 instead of staying in the East like they did here. It doesn't really make sense for them to stay out here because the PCHA was basically their league. They organized everything. They owned the teams through a couple of them through intermediaries, but it was basically the Patrick League. So it doesn't make sense for that league to start up and then them to be stuck back in Eastern Canada. Ottawa. Okay, Malone is healthy, so I don't know if I want him on the first line, but Lefebvre is replaced with Malone. I'm going to give Keats the first line job tonight. And shut out 4-0 by Hugh Lehman in Ottawa. And the media is criticizing Albert Kerr. Well, he's not that important. He's kind of old.
Just gonna
Let's go with the
abandon him.
criticism. See if it wakes him up for the last couple of games. Oh, and I think we've got a intervention here. Yeah, I'm trying to knock down that click a little more. That worked. 2 left. That was Cleghorn this time. And Peter is healthy now, so it's the playoffs, so should be. I can leave him up like that. So what do I? Bell is out with bruised chest, so that's who is going out for Petra. Malone, unfortunately, still a little bit injured. Come on, guys. Give me one game here. Nope. 7-2, and we get swept by Ottawa. Not terribly surprising, but still kind of disappointing.
Well,
and we'll just roll through and get to the, we got a development report here.
you given some updates saying
Nothing to.
Eiserman might be considering a change of coach this offseason if the Red Wings were to continue their free fall out of the Stanley Cup playoff position. And if that is indeed the route he decides to take, the man at the top of his list might just be former St. Louis coach Craig Berube.
That could work. Oh, great. Joe Malone's healthy again, just in time to not play in the Stanley Cup finals, which are going to be. Oh, I'll do one more day. And the Ottawa, and they, well, that's, sorry, that's the, I was going to say they swept the Stanley Cup too. That's us getting swept. And the 2-game total goal series goes to Ottawa over Victoria. Did Vancouver not? Oops.
Vancouver did not make it.
Yeah, Vancouver, I thought they were, oh no, they were actually were only 10-12 this year. Victoria have a good team. Oh yeah, Frank Nyberg, Brian Stanley, Punch Brown. Oh yeah, that's a loaded team. Bill Cook. This is actually a great team. When they go under in a few years, these guys are all going to be headed for the NHL, so have to grab a few then.
You should come, P-Wad.
Oh, and the got the Olympic tournament, which is won by an upset Canada, or the United States over Canada, 2-1 in the final.
Nice.
Not a lot of familiar names there, although Taffy Abel, future NHLer with the Hawks in real life.
I mean, this isn't a crazy unexpected thing.
Oh, we got a new clique. So let's get rid of that one. Oh, and that made
Backfire.
everybody unhappy with Buck Boucher, so we made an even bigger mess there. Let's try that again. Okay, at least I got one smaller and can hopefully break that up soon. Development report. Yeah, Cleghorn down 2, Malone down 1. We need some young guys to start coming through soon, but the draft is coming up. The click grows, great. Oh, we got a third one now. So basically, the team is just broken up into factions at this point, and they're all fighting with each other. What was I looking for here? Oh, I wanted to see just taking a look at our player stats this year. Malone, not too surprising, is out in front. Keats, Harry Watson is coming along nicely, only his second season in the league. Billy Bell, bit of a comeback season for him. I think he was actually down we'd send him down at one point, but that's career high for points for him.
It's a good thing.
And Waters finishes with goals against average under 4. Pretty good for this time period. And our contract was extended again. Should take a look at our job security. Yep, solidly in the blue. Even though the team harmony is not great, and the fans are reasonably happy with us. Renewing staff. And should be coming around July 1st and 2nd. Okay, 48 points for the season score.
It's not terrible.
Not terrible, not great, but I'll take it. Keep bumping up the coaching numbers.
Bump up those prospects, yeah.
Okay, fairly balanced approach there. And still in rebuild mode for the next season. And that was at the end of the season update. Now, we've got a change here. The Quebec Bulldogs, after that brief, unsuccessful comeback season, have left the league, or have moved to Hamilton. They are now the Hamilton Tigers. And if you look up the Hamilton Tigers logo online, one of the versions of it you may see is this thing.
Beautiful thing.
Isn't that incredibly intimidating? I'd be terrified if this thing was coming at me. It's apparently this was a rendering that's, I guess, must have been a very blurry picture that has been kicking around the internet for a few years. The actual logo looked a little more reasonable. It's still not fantastic, but it's, not this thing.
Better than that. Yeah.
So the
it looks like somebody did in Microsoft Paint.
So the Tigers are in Hamilton for a few years now. Sad thing is, just when they started, they had a few bad years. Just when they started to get good, there was a sort of an owner management problem with the players. Players went out on strike, refused to play in the playoffs, and they wound up moving the whole team to New York, where they became the Americans.
which we actually did a stream of back in FHM 5.
Way back at some point. Yeah, it's been quite a while.
Yeah, I'm gonna
So
have to go look this up now.
yeah. Okay, so draft order will be drafting third. Hamilton will have the number one pick, and Joliat, who I fixed because of the naming issue in the last one, should be there. Yeah, there he is in the draft. But look who else is there. I mean, this becomes a ridiculously loaded draft now. Eddie Shore, Howie well, Shore, arguably possibly candidate for the best player of the 1920s and early 30s. More Howie Morenz, same thing. Nell Stewart was the NHL's all-time goal-scoring leader before Rocket Richard passed him, and Aurel Joliat, Morenz's winger, another all-time great player in the Hall of Fame. Oh, and Alex Connell, Hall of Fame goalie for Ottawa. Battleship Leduc, Silvio Mantha, Baldy Cotton, all solid players. So this is probably the deepest draft we're going to see in the early part of the history here.
I just checked. I was right. I nailed it. It's FHM 5. We did a random debut game as the New York Americans, apparently.
Okay, so draft order is Hamilton, Toronto, us, and then Ottawa. So I'm guessing it's going to go Shore, Morenz, and then we'll probably take Joliat. Although it would be nice. Wait, Stewart isn't.
If he's still kicking around.
Oh, Stewart is from Montreal. So, oh, yeah, that's right, because he played for the Maroons for a while, too. So, I should mention we've got a house rule here. We're only taking players who are either French Canadian, from Montreal or from Quebec, or who played for the Canadiens in real life.
Yes, and the last one we just added in our last stream.
Yeah. We've had to bend that on a couple of times because we just ran out of players to pick, but we're trying to keep this sort of representative of how the actual Canadians looked at this point, and it makes a bit more of a challenge too. So let's see, first pick. Yep, Eddie Shore to the Hamilton Tigers. So Shore will actually wind up in New York when they move, assuming he doesn't get traded before that. Now, does Toronto take Stewart or Morenz? They take Morenz from Stratford, Ontario, so it kind of makes sense for them. Now, do we want Stewart or Joliat? Joliat's a year older. Because we're certainly, if Stewart is going to wind up in Ottawa.
Could we try and trade back in first round? Take them both? Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, if I can.
Traded our second round pick. And what do we need here?
If I could get their first round pick, might be the time to move that extra goalie, although we've also got extra Trika 2 to start off with. And our second and third, hardly likely. They're not going to go for that. No, too weak.
Try our second next year with our second this year.
See if I throw the rights to Hart in as well.
I say you could try Stan Jackson because he's Nova Scotia.
Okay, well balanced. Yeah, that's both picks. All right, let's try Jackson then. Nope, they're still not good with that.
Add the fourth rounder in 3 years from now.
That's going to be extremely low value. I better do
third rounder through 3 years from now.
Try the fourth rounder 2 years from now. Okay, there we go. So our second this year, our second next year, our fourth next year, Billy Coutu and Stan Jackson for Ottawa's first overall pick.
Not first overall. That's not
or
correct.
first round pick, which at least puts us in the position where I can do
Some fun
Joliet
things.
and then Stewart. Joliet, the guy with the French name, is actually from Ontario. He's from Ottawa. But Stewart is the guy with the English name is from Montreal. And that bounces back now to Hamilton, who are probably going to take Alex Connell here. But we've got a couple of good French Canadian defensemen here, Leduc and Mantha, so it doesn't
Both those
matter that
guys
we
did.
lost.
Both those guys did end up playing for Montreal in real life, though.
Oh, and
Yeah.
Hamilton takes Baldy Cotton, who I think wound up with them in real life. Oh, so Toronto takes Silvio Mantha. Wait, isn't this our pick? Oh no, we gave this to Ottawa. So with our pick, Ottawa takes Battleship Leduc. Okay, there's the other French Canadian defenseman gone. And they pick again. They're going to go for Connell. Nope, Harold Dara. Connell finally goes to Hamilton, so they're going to have a good draft. We got one more after this one. Toronto takes Alex Smith. Seeing anybody that fits Leo LaFrance. Well, Sudbury, but it's a French Canadian name, so might have to go with him. I'm not seeing anybody else that really fits our rules, unless Shepard happens to be. Oh, he's from Montreal. Okay, Johnny Shepard. The only two-star potential guy left. I will take him.
Fair enough.
And we may be able to get LaFrance with the last one. Nope, he goes to Toronto. You seeing anybody here? Oh, they're Gene Chouinard.
Um,
Defenseman I'm never going to sign, so I'll just
I was gonna say
use
you
the
could
pick.
just search.
And I am at, what is my contract limit here? I'm on 3 players away from the contract limit, and I have to get those two guys we just picked signed. And is anybody else ready to play? Shepard can wait. I am going to sign Hart. I may wind up releasing somebody off the minor league team to make room for him. I don't really have that many to move. Oh, I didn't check the retirements. Was there anything? Oh, no retirements at all. Okay, so nothing to worry about there.
I mean, that's not a huge surprise.
Okay, Stewart signs. Give me a 29. You can get a better number than that. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. I gave him a number and gave him Fine's number. So the Fine will get 12 and is probably not happy with me. And Joliet cannot wear a 4 because that's Peter's number, and he's worn that since the beginning. 17. So this is what I've got heading into the next season. How does a depth chart look? Monroe still hasn't passed Bouchard, even though he had a couple of good games there. And McCaffrey, your guy, I will call him up just to see where he fits. And I want to set up the roles. I'm not setting Joliet as a power forward because he was like 5'7", 136. Not quite your traditional power forward size. I think he can stay where he is. And who was the other one? No, Stewart. And he actually works as a screener. So he will stay there. Okay, I think we're in pretty good shape here. See how far we can get into this new season. Oh, I forgot to look. I'm out of contract space, but one of the Boucher brothers is out there. I could bring him back. Billy Birch, who was a pretty good New York American, somehow slipped through, and he's there. See, there's a few decent young players.
Again, do they hit our what we need?
Boucher is French. He's from Ottawa. Or are you talking about lineup requirements?
No, lineup. Well, we want Frenchmen. How many spots do we have to sign, guys? How many contracts do we have left?
0. I'd have to let somebody go. And Harry Hyland's 31. I'm just going to buy him out. He can have his $1,300, and good luck to him wherever he winds up. And just there's so many good, decent young players here. Birch is tempting, but he doesn't. I don't think. Yeah, Yonkers, New York. I'll go with Boucher. We got his brother already as a captain, so it makes sense to bring him in. And
Fair enough.
Oh no, Frank Boucher isn't in one of the Western teams, or was he? Maybe no, he was in Hamilton. And Billy Boucher does sign with us. Should mention I've got the finances turned to be run by the AI just so we can move through this a little quicker. Rather than having to reset them at the start of each month. But now that they say that, start of each month, I keep forgetting to knock down the clicks, and that was ineffective. And I'll get it right to the start of the preseason. Another shot at breaking that up, and got rid of it. So 1 down, 2 to go. And we should be getting sort of close to the start of the regular season here. And just so I can get it out of the way now, let's renew the contracts on the guys that will be free agents at the end of this year.
Just don't want to forget that.
Yeah. Johnson or Captain Boucher. I'm just giving them what they want. We've got a lot of space to play with at this point. Keats, yeah, I don't want to lose him. Bell, we'll see. He's starting to slip. He's down to 1.5 stars. Same with Kerr. Saying, yeah, Petras should be almost done too. And we get smaller again. And it should be coming up in the start of the regular season. There's the preseason, first game against Ottawa. And I'll just set up the full regular season lineup. I need to call up a defenseman, I guess. Oh no, what I can do is, and this also gives me a chance to mention this, I'm going to move McCaffrey to defense. And we made a little internal change in the update here.
Yeah.
When I make the manual change on his position, he'll be getting his internal player type template switched to defense, which should eliminate the problems you may have seen before with players asking for saying they don't like the position that's being offered to them in contract negotiations. I'm pretty sure that was the cause of that, and I think we've got that all fixed now. And I think both the new guys go in. And I don't want to scratch Boucher. I don't want to scratch Petra. Hart definitely doesn't make it. Pen is also not quite there. Yeah, I've got to put Boucher in. Oh, did I set his... Yeah, he's still on screener. And he actually can be a power forward, as he's much bigger, 20 pounds heavier than Joliet at 155. And I'm just going to set the tactics first. Just going to look for any potential problems where we have bad fits or terrible fits. Oh yeah, staying in lanes works much better for the key guys here. That looks okay. That looks... could the defensive zone coverage be better? No, apparently not. That's the best one. And the right side... Short-handed forechecking may need to change. That fits, that still fits. Okay. And what does the AI do with the lines? I still want... Actually, I'm going to throw it wide open and see what happens.
Chaos. Pure, adulterated chaos.
No, actually, that's interesting. They Malone goes to left wing, and first line with Keats. Stewart goes down to the second line with Watson. Is Watson naturally a screener? Have I just got... Nope, he naturally is. But I can't have two guys sitting in front of the net at the same time, so Joliet is going to get bumped up to the second line right away.
You act like 1990s hockey didn't exist.
Didn't exist in the 1920s. Okay, preseason opener against Ottawa. 6-5 win. And the newly acquired Billy Boucher is the first star. Second game against Toronto. I'll just leave everything intact. Start building some chemistry. 8-7 win for Toronto. Mickey McKay with 4 goals. But just a preseason game. Nothing to worry about. One more against Toronto. And we'll throw Chabot in. Give him a preseason start. 7-1 win. Nice. Oh, and I should set the... should cut my roster down to 17 here. Poulin's been with us forever, but down to 1.5 stars. I can't really make that work anymore. And Bill is out for a black with the black eye, but I'm going to send him to the minors anyhow.
Should you maybe throw him up in up on the trade block?
Yeah, see if I can get something for Bill. On the other hand, I'll see if he gets through waivers first. I'm not going to put him on the trade block, so I'm not really actively looking for trades, but he's going to be somebody that we move if we...
It'd be nice to recap some of your picks.
Yeah. What was I doing here? That's... Oh, trading. Orders and Chabot. Swap that so it's balanced for the goalies in the first year. Want a little more emphasis on the new guy, Joliet, and no, definitely not Kerr, Joliet, and Stewart. No, I didn't catch. Yeah, I'll leave it on 12 there. I'm looking at the second number here. I want to keep that at least 10 or above. But I want to, and I'm leaving, even though Malone is older, I'm leaving the points in there because he's our best player. And I'm trying to defer his eventual decline as long as possible.
Which makes sense.
That doesn't mean we need to do that in every category. Stewart, Julia. And yeah, I'll leave that one in Cleghorn. And leave it like that. And our final exhibition game against the New Hamilton Tigers. And it's a 5-2 win. How is Hamilton looking? Our training camp development report. Hart goes way up, that's good. 5 points out of the pen, but he's still half a star only. Chabot improves, or Jolias. Oh, nice from look at Stewart. +1, +2, +1, +2, +1, +1. 8 points up total. Watson's still going up. Waters is up to 2 stars now, so we should have acceptable goal intending this year and maybe above average by sometime next year. And yeah, some of the key guys are still going down now. Anything I need to change? Don't think so. Opening night against the Leafs. And it's a win, just barely, 6-5, and Joe Malone with the hat trick. Ah, great. Now Cleghorn's done something off the ice that's annoyed 3 of his teammates, as if we didn't have enough problems already, but I'm not even into January yet, so I can't fix that. Oh, and great, and Cleghorn is being criticized by the media as well, so I'll defend him. And how is my... Oops, didn't mean to do that. How is my media relationship? Open warfare with the Montreal media. That's always good.
Nothing bad ever happens with that.
And how does Hamilton look this year? Benedict back in goal. Hitchman is a year better, but he's got no help at all on D. Boucher is coming along nicely, and Walker. Roach can still play. Who did they... Where's Eddie Short? Did he sign...
On the West Coast?
He signed with Seattle, yeah. Oh, okay. He moved to Seattle and somehow got a sunburn. How do you get sunburned in Seattle?
I guess he went over there very quickly.
Okay. First game against Hamilton and a 6-2 win, and Malone the second star this time. Stewart gets his first couple of NHL goals. And the media is praising Bert Corbeau. And well, I didn't carry the team, but and we're running out of time here, but we'll get one more game in against Toronto. We're losing overtime, and yeah, that's going to be happening a lot in the future. Howie Moran's with the hat trick for the Leafs. I just want to see how we do against Ottawa. We got one game against them. And I can, it's into January now, so I can do that. Almost got rid of that second smaller one. Gerard healthy. Peter's a little hurt, so I'm going to swap Kerr in for him. Yeah, come on, let's get a win against Ottawa to end this up. Wow, Ottawa's 0-3 to start the season, or at least they were until they beat us there. So 6-3 loss. We're now 2-2. And I'll cut it off there, but so Toronto 4-1 to start the year. Hamilton's 2-2. We're 2-2, and Ottawa inexplicably a couple of injuries to defensemen, but still they haven't really gotten any worse. Surprising.
It's kind of a bare minimum. Well, they haven't gotten any worse.
And what's Seattle doing with Eddie Shore? Who they got to play with him? Jack Adams, future Red Wing general manager. Icelandic Canadian legend Frank Frederickson. Now Red Dutton, future NHL president. Dutton and Shore would be a pretty good. Did they might have played with? Oh no, Dutton I think played for Calgary, and Shore was in Edmonton. Oh, and Jim Johnson. So it's like the three best Western Canadian defensemen from the era. Although they're all very young at this point. But yeah, Seattle will have, it looks like, a few good years before the team goes under. Okay, one quick game against Ottawa. Need a win here. 6-4 win. There we go. And Buck Boucher, our captain, is the first star. And well, I'm not going to comment. Well, wait, no, it's they're criticizing Kerr. Kerr doesn't really matter, so I'm going to go with it just to see if the media will be a little happier with me afterwards.
Can't hurt.
Oops. The job security screen. Still called open warfare, so they're not happy. At least the fans like me. And the owner's happy, and the team harmony is not
Team hates
great,
each other.
But
the team hates each other. The media hates me. But, otherwise it's okay. It's okay. It's all right.
And the Leafs off to a big start. Mickey McKay and Harry Meeking leading the league. How's our scoring looking? Malone, not surprising. Stewart off to a pretty good beginning to his NHL career. See, eventually he winds up with those numbers. 324 career goals. Johnson, Keith's doing okay. Surely had a little slower start, but no, pretty good all around. All the goaltending could be better. But I think we're on the right track now, Adam.
I hope so.
Should be dominating the league within a few more seasons, theoretically.
50 or so?
Yeah. No.
50 or so.
30 at most.
Oh, okay. You want me to start doing the wrap up here?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, go ahead. I think we're a little past the hour.
All right. Well, thank you very much for tuning in to another Franchise Hockey Manager stream. We typically stream every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/Franchise Hockey Manager, as well as twitch.tv/OOTP Developments. You can also reach out to us. I'm sorry. No. You can find all of our streams archived on our YouTube channel, which is maybe where you're watching this right now, which is youtube.com/OOTP Developments. The stream archives going lives on Saturdays at about 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also reach out to us on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Franchise Hockey Manager. On Twitter, we're at Franchise Hockey. We can find a link to our official Discord in our Twitter bio as well. And of course, you can come on down to the official website, which is ootpdevelopments.com. Click on the community button in the top right-hand corner, which will bring you to the official forums. We can come talk about Franchise Hockey Manager, Adult Park Baseball, Perfect Team, or anything else you wish to discuss. As Jeff previously mentioned, the possibly final update for FHM 10 is currently in open beta right now.
Yep, Steam
for
only.
Steam users.
Yeah, so if you look on our forums, there are instructions on how to join the beta and report back to us any problems you find. And if assuming everything goes reasonably well, we'll do a few more fixes probably over the weekend, the next few days, and then ideally get get everyone the full version of the update, full release around this time next week. And that's got a couple of different additions to it. We've made some changes to the. You can see the whole list of them on the forum, but we've improved the operation of this filter, done a few things with the CSV export options. I mentioned a couple of little historical changes we've made. I've made some changes to 2D mode. I should have mentioned it here because it actually affects these years. It cuts down on the forward passing in this era, because up until 1929, you're not allowed to pass to do forward passes in the offensive zone. So that significantly affects the way the game is played. So we played what you saw the last season here was played with the 2D engine doing that. So that depresses scoring a little bit from what it was at, but I think it's going to get it closer to historical levels, and we'll probably be expanding on stuff in that area for FHM 11, getting a few more things that are sort of historic, but made to reflect instead of everything in the 2D mode always using the basic modern NHL model, we'll try to get it looking a little bit more like hockey did in those days. And then, the same thing for, the modern games, the way it's, different sets of rules in different leagues, but that's in the future, and hopefully I'll be able to talk a little bit more about that sometime next summer, fall-ish, when we're ready to get the new version of the game out. But I think that's it.
At some point.
Yep. That's it for now, and we'll be back next week with Adam's Penguins rebuild, where he has had a great second season. Then what happened, Adam? Adam?
We had a draft.
I think something happened in between then.
No. We had a successful season. Now we've had a draft and free agency.
Didn't get swept in the first round of the playoffs.
I don't want to talk about it, Jeff.
Okay. But we'll be back. Adam will try to redeem himself next week. So thanks for coming out, and we will see you a week from now.